there's been this model in the business where the business runs the business and IT just goes and supports stuff, right? You configure the laptops, you bring up the servers, you install the applications, you take far too long to develop code, test, release, and it's still not what we wanted. So, you know, I think the biggest shift has got to be, and you know, this comes from my own personal experience, not being a provider to the business, but being a partner, having a seat at the table. So instead of the business coming up with a business strategy, we collectively come up with the business strategy. I mean, surprisingly, IT is actually part of the business and can be a substantial part of the business from a cost and benefit standpoint. So being able to have a good relationship, and not just at the CIO level, but through all levels of the organization. So as the teams go and develop their strategies, as they develop their requirements, as they develop, you know, as they follow that shiny object that they saw, you know, from the latest vendor presentation, somebody's there to help them, guide them, counsel them on the technology, be there to work with them to develop the right way to implement it.
Certainly about the two IT and business coming together and seeing each other as partnerships, but it also means looking at it from not just a one lens view, not just from the traditional enterprise IT mindset of looking at especially analytics and business intelligence, because fundamentally it's about churning this data much faster and producing solutions much faster. And while there is a time, you can't think in the traditional 12-month, 18-month, 2-year type of timeline cycles, when the speed of data, speed of business is moving much faster. Internal-driven analytics that are going to change or streamline the way the business operates or targets clients or segments clients or a whole myriad of different things. It's not this full enterprise level robust things that we need to create. We need to create quick pieces of understanding, quick pieces of insight that can then be deployed to change the business processes that are tweaked somewhat. So it can be a more agile process, but that means both parties need to look at it as such and not put the full
It's not a big bang approach. It's incremental improvements here and there, and those almost necessarily will lead to changes in what we do, how we do it, and then create more opportunities.
But I think that's also driven a lot of the issues we've had as organizations in the past, because the business will come with these massive projects. I need all of this and I need it tomorrow. And so IT becomes this massive organization. They spin up a lot, they spend a lot, you've got these massive servers. You lose some of that flexibility because you're reacting to the business request.
Is that where having some stand-up cloud environments, right, can help?
Absolutely.
Embracing some of those things where they're actually maybe not utilized 100%, or they're not exactly up for a function that working with them to say, hey, it makes sense to stand up some areas within the business that we don't know what we're going to use it for today, but the next time we dump something on you, you can then help us figure out what belongs in a serviced environment, what belongs in an internal environment, and then so having that type of balance. Now, it's always hard in a financially constrained world, like build something up that you may not know exactly what you're using it for. But I think from a technology perspective, and that's part of what I look to our technology folks for to say is that, hey, think about this. What's our longer term plan? There's a big trend towards cloud computing, right? What are we doing internally? How can we leverage what we know externally to set this up today? Because we know it's going to happen tomorrow. Help us, we can maybe help you on the business side, build a business case for it, and understand then that when some of that stuff comes up, because it's going to come up and it always does, it's not this traditional, stop, I got to figure out which server I'm going to get it, I got to figure out how I'm going to get to more data space, I'm going to do all those things. There's a place to actually have that flexibility.